Asset-based community development really is the focus on what exists within communities and within individuals that they can use to grow community life, that they can use to get the kind of life they want, a life of their choosing. So that's the basic principle. And I think what it also recognizes is that there's some barriers to people doing that, to focusing on what they have. And some of those barriers relate to the fact that probably over the last 30, 40 years, we've really become very focused on what people don't have, on what they need to receive, rather than on what they can contribute. So I think the other thing that's worth saying is that ABCD is about building community, and we know that community is built on what people have, not on what they don't have. So when we focus on people's assets, and by that we mean people's own personal gifts, their talents, their gifts of the head, heart and hands, their skills, we also think that assets are really associational. They're about how people come together to do stuff that they can't do on their own. And at that local level, how they're used to build community really, really matters. So building on those things, building on those resources, the physical capital that exists in community as well, is really the core of what ABCD is all about.
No neighborhood wants to be seen as unfriendly, so the numbers just keep going up. Up to 10, this guy's really happy, he's up to 14.
What we want to see is asset-based community development, not asset stripping. What we want to say is that there are things that community can do, that only community can do, that they're uniquely competent to do. But there's also things that government can only do. That's why we've set up governments, because the stuff that we can't do in community life. So there are limits to local. There are things that we can't do at local level. And what we have to make sure is that people don't hijack the ABCD language to excuse cutting down the responsibilities of government. So I really think it's important that government doesn't do what community can do. And I think if it's looking to reduce costs, certainly get out of the way of community. Don't do what community can do. But where community needs co-production, needs help, help them. And where community needs the government to do its job, get on and do it. And what we're actually seeing is we're seeing decades upon decades upon decades of the net result of governments doing stuff that communities can do best. So they've grown rusty. Institutions and I suppose agencies were hatched out of associational life. So at some point in our history we said, you know, the stuff we can't do with people power, we need institutions and systems to help us with. I think the difficulty is many of these institutions have become so bloated and so inflated that they've actually lost the lived memory of where they came from. And in the process of inflating themselves have deflated the power of community, and so don't really genuinely believe in the capacity of community. So I think that's a massive resistance, that kind of mental assumption that there's nothing really uniquely within the competency of community. I think that needs to change. I think as professionals we need to move back into a service-based way of thinking rather than a fixing or a solution-based way of thinking. I think that is changing. There's so many professionals that I meet in the UK who have a service mindset and who really want to empower rather than create dependency. So I think that's there. It's a growing movement that we see in the public sector.